Hello, my name is Xander from Terrytown, and welcome to your Jayco Eagle 284 BHOK. I'm just going to start this off by saying I do apologize for the wind because it is picking up at random points in time, but I'm going to do my best to try and block it out and still try and get this unit videoed for you. Other than that, I'm just going to jump right into it. Right here is going to be your front power tongue jack. You're going to have a on and off switch for the light just underneath there. And you're going to have your retract and extend for your power tongue jack there. So, since this is electric, if it ever does electrically go out, you have this little black tab here that you can pick up and stick a 3/4 inch bit or whatever inside there, and then you can go ahead and then bring this up or down. Once again, if it's electrically out, you can do it manually. All right, here's going to be your 2 propane tanks. One is to the left and it's opened up. It's going to have this little green instead of red. Of course, that just shows you that there is propane going through. Then eventually, that'll turn red and you know it's empty. Otherwise, you just flip your regulator switch, whichever propane tank you do want to use. And of course, it's going to be using that tank. You're going to have your little battery over there. And then just right here, you're going to have your switches for your lights. So you have this LED strip and then of course the little ones on the side. Moving on, you're going to have your pass-through storage here. And then just inside here is going to be for your jacks. Tells you all right there, front extend, rear extend, front retract, and rear retract. In here is going to be your water systems. So this is going to be your outside shower, which you can plug into right here. This is your water heater bypass valve. So when you do want to, or when you go to winterize it, you need to make sure that it's bypassed. Otherwise, when you turn to the left, it'll say normal, which obviously I'm not going to turn to at the moment because I don't want any antifreeze inside of the water heater. Moving down, you're going to have your main water system. So here's a little pump switch. This is going to be your black tank flush, which I'll go over in just a minute. Then you're going to have your satellite cable auxiliary inputs there. And then for these two here, it's going to be whichever way you color coordinate these little buttons there. So you can see there, it says sanitize, tank fill, dry camp, winterize, or city water. So whichever dial or color coordination that you put those in, it is going to change one of these two into that. So you can either A, fill up your tank, dry camp, winterize, or city, turn it into your city water connection with all of that. But so right now, since it's green to the left, blue to the right, winterize. So for this one, it's going to be your winterize. So that's when you turn your pump on, that is going to suck your antifreeze in through here and push it through your lines. And then since it's city water, this is going to be sucking up water as well. So for your main water source, when you get to a campground, you're going to want to plug that campground hose into here. Like I said, this is going to be your main water source. Right down here is going to be all of your little sewer system drains. So you're going to have your black tank drain and then your 2 grays. So your black tank is going to be for your toilet, and then your gray tanks are going to be for showers, sinks, and pretty much any other water source. But that's why the black tank has a black tank flush, because obviously it's going to have toilet paper and other stuff in there that will get stuck on the way out. So that's why it gives you that flush, so you can go ahead, flush it out, make sure the sensors are clear, and it gives you an accurate reading on when to empty that. And then just underneath here is going to be one of your stabilizer jacks, along with your fresh tank drain right there. But I'll go over the stabilizer jacks. Actually, well, not really, because it's right there. But you just hold them down and they will then extend. I'll go over more of those stabilizers when you were here, just so you can get the real feel in person. Other than that, you're going to have your anode rod. This is going to protect your tank, so all the hard water will eat at this rather than your tank. So over time, this will deteriorate, so you will need to replace it. It's more of like a personal call, so whenever you think about 50% it's gonna be when you need to replace it. So whenever you think 50%, go ahead and buy a new one. Otherwise, to turn your water heater on, you just put your anode rod into the hole. Make sure that's nice and tight. It should be a 1 1/16 socket. And then with that, you're gonna need to go to the inside of your camper, turn on the hot side of your faucet, and it's gonna sputter for a little bit. With that sputtering, it's just going to be all the air being pushed out of your water heater. So once you have a steady flow of water coming out the hot side of your faucet and that anode rod is in and nice and tight, then you can go ahead and turn this on through the inside. Other than that, to turn it off or to drain all the water out, you just pull this little pressure release valve here. It's going to hiss, obviously releasing all the pressure. And then when it's done hissing, go ahead and take your socket, pull your anode rod back out, and then it is going to drain out onto the floor. And then when you're done, pop that down. You're gonna go ahead and replace this cap, or the little door area. Here's your camp power or shore power here. This is gonna be 50 amp service. Then here's for another great tank pull. Back door for the bunk. And then right up there is going to be a backup camera prep. So if you do decide to purchase a backup camera, it'll go right there. This is going to be your little outside kitchen area. There's not really a whole lot to it. You can also see how full your back gray tank is. That's why you have that lone one in the back, is because it's going to be for this drain right here for your sink. And then just underneath here is going to be, if the camera will focus, right there's going to be your low point drains. So when you do go to drain all of your water out, you just twist those, and then that will be the hot and cold lines. It's going to drain the hot and cold lines because those are the lowest points. That's why they're called the low point drains. Otherwise, so this right here is going to be your LP Quick Connect. So if you do decide to put your griddle or anything inside of your J port, of course it's going to access propane. So that propane or the LP Quick Connect is going to feed through. You're going to have a light for underneath. Obviously it's very hard to see. And then here's going to be your the back of your refrigerator. So if you do need to access this, just a little quarter turn, so you can go ahead and open those up. This is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when your furnace is on, all the extra heat is going to be kicking out of here. And then 110 outlets. And inside here is going to be your J port and then your griddle as well. You're going to have your crank. So this little piece here is going to be your manual override for not only your stabilizer jacks, but also your manual override for your front power tongue jack there. And then going into your convenience package, you can have a 25-foot drinking hose, just in case you ever need to use that, I guess, or use a spout. Here's a 110 adapter, just in case you do need to plug this unit into your house. And to do that, you're going to need to bump the 50 amp down to 30 amp. So this is what this adapter is for. And of course the 30 into 110. And then this right here is going to be your little sewer hose. I do recommend getting a better one because this is not the most ideal, but that's just a personal recommendation, but I highly, highly recommend it. And then right there on the right side is going to be your battery disconnect. So that's what's going to give your unit power. So when you're plugged in, you're going to want to turn that to on. And then to turn it off, you just twist and pull it out. Otherwise, you just push in, push, turn, and it will light up. So that disconnects the battery to the inside of the camper. With the name battery disconnect, it's pretty self-explanatory. It just connects and disconnects the battery to the inside of the camper. And then moving to the inside, just gonna keep pulling, and eventually it will come down. With these two buttons that will help you move your legs for different ground clearances. And then on the inside here is going to be your little main power panel. So this is where everything is going to be controlled through. So if you click through here, so right now these are your tanks. So it tells you how full they're getting. So your 2 grays, your black, and then your fresh. You can turn on your water pump. And then you have 2 elements to your water heater, so electric and gas. Of course, you turn them with on there, off there. Your motors, so whether you want to move your awning out, or your stabilizer jacks, or your slide, you can go ahead and do that all with this. So slide 1, hold extend, which is the EXT, and it is going to move. Once you hear that gear grinding noise, you know you're fully extended. For your awning, it is fairly windy right now, so I'm not gonna go over it right now, but I will go over it with you in person when you come to pick it up. And then right here, of course, stabilizer jack front, stabilizer jack rear. And then moving through, you got your AC, room set, and then of course you can switch the mode between on and off. And then settings, you know, pair, advanced, everything like that. It's all gonna be through your settings. And then back to tanks. For your lights, 1 is going to be your inside lights, 2 is going to be your outside lights, and then 3 is going to be both of them at the same time. And then a little quick menu for your water pump, and then your water heater. How about other than that? Very self-explanatory. Here's another little switch for your lights. And then I'm just going to shut this door. If I can reach it, there we go. All right, so moving down here, this is gonna be your sound bar. So you just click to turn on. You have your HDMI, USB, radio channels, skips, pause, play, select, which you can select your, equalizer. And then of course power again. Mode, so if you want to switch between Bluetooth, radio, anything like that, you are able to do that. And then volume down, volume up, volume mute, zone 1 inside speakers, zone 2 outside speakers. And of course, click to turn off. For your little space heater here, click to turn on. This is going to be your temperature. So you can see low, high for fan speed and your temp. And then this is going to be colors. And then this is going to be your time. So it goes all the way up to 5 hours. And then back off. Down here is going to be your breakers and fuses. If I can get that open. All of your breakers are going to be labeled just like a house would be. And then for your fuses, I do recommend bringing some extra with you. It's just a personal recommendation, but I do highly recommend it. Moving into your fridge here. Just up top is where you are going to control your temperature. And then for your freezer, not a whole lot, just your freezer. Got your microwave, your fan and your light. And then for your oven and stove, click the lights to turn on. You press, turn to the little pilot symbol of the flame, and you just turn to the right and spark. Otherwise you have your other burners. And then for your oven, it's going to be a tad bit different. Right in the back there is going to be where the flame and where the gas comes out. So you're going to want to press, turn to the pilot symbol, spark, 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 spark until you see the small flame appear in the back. Then go ahead and adjust your temperature needed. But once again, this is your igniter. Only turn to the right, because if you turn to the left, it will snap off. So that's why there's arrows telling you to. Your keys, pretty self-explanatory. There's only 2 of them. It's going to be key to like, so everything's going to go off of those 2 keys right there. Otherwise, this is going to be the inside of the bedroom. Not really a whole lot to it. Otherwise, you do have a TV bracket there, and of course your inputs along with 110 outlet there. And then just over here is going to be your carbon monoxide detector. So that little green light tells you and indicates that it is on, and it is always going to be on as a safety feature. So I just double check, make sure that when you were unplugged from shore power, and same with your battery, so your battery disconnects off, double check that that green light is off, because sometimes it can be a little bit stubborn and not turn off if the battery disconnect. So just double check that that green light is off, but if worse comes to worse and it's not, just go ahead and take the negative end off of your battery. Otherwise, seat's pretty self-explanatory. Got your, what can I think of it? I almost called it your center console. Well, it's pretty much what it is, but your little storage area there. And then your pole is going to be on the right side. And of course, for that one, it's going to be on the left, right there. And then you lean back. That's how you extend it. And then bring it back in. Sit up. Use your heels to close it. And then pretty much the main things about your bathroom, there's going to be 3 of them. One, it's a foot flush, so remember, push it down with your foot to flush. And then you're going to need RV grade toilet paper and toilet solution. The solution is going to help break down solids and smells, and then the toilet paper is just going to help break down easier, pretty much just to make sure that everything flows nice and easy, and there's going to be no clog up, so you don't have to replace any of your either a black tank or your sewer hose lines. And then last but not least, is that on the side? Yep. So for the lock, let me pop this up. So what most people will do is they'll just push it down like that. It will pop back up pretty easily. So you want to go down and press until you hear that click. That's how you know it's in. Otherwise, you have all of your lights here. Camera will turn. Right there is going to be your fan, which you also have the other controls on the side. And then the rest of your lights. And then in here is just going to be for the under storage. So you can pop this out and of course lift this piece up. You can see the little fold right there. But other than that, that has been your orientation. So if you do have any questions, write them down and bring them in. Other than that, if there's any that you think of later on or whatever, please feel free to email me back. I'll get those answered for you as soon as possible. But that has been your brief orientation. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoy.